So something I did not mention. Oh my god. It's fine, it's fine. Okay. What just happened? What's going on, guys? So, as I promised, here is my third video of the series, and it's gonna be about how to ink your drawing after you traced it or you made your sketch. So something I did not mention in my last video, when you trace something, you don't have to trace your artwork. You can just draw on your sketch, which is something I don't really like to do because it gets really messy, and as I said, I have a heavy hand, so my paper is mostly dented. So I like to use a fresh piece of paper, and also because I don't sketch on any fancy paper at all, I just use normal printer paper, and then I sketch, or then I trace my artwork onto watercolor paper. So starting off with the materials you could use, before that I want to say there's a bunch of different things, like the colors you can choose, and okay. Alright, I'm back and I have absolutely no idea what I was talking about. So before I get too much into what kind of media and how to ink your art, I'd like to get a little more into the colors you can choose for your inking part. So when you're inking your art, you have a bunch of different colors you can choose from. One thing you see me do a lot is use colored pencils, which is good if you want to color it and all that. You can use it with markers or watercolors or other colored pencils. I have to say that I don't love the technique that much, even though I always use it, but I just kind of feel like it doesn't leave on a lot. Like when I go over it with my watercolors, it kind of takes away the vibrance of the lines and the darkness of the lines, so it's kind of not good. One thing I do is I first trace all my artwork really lightly in the colors that I want them to be. Then I color it, and then I make the lines thicker wherever I need them to be. If you decide using this technique, I would really be careful with the kind of colored pencils you choose, because you can have a problem if your lead is too soft, which means that it's gonna break off, like the lead is gonna break all the time, so that's not really nice. Also, I wouldn't use polychromos from Faber-Castell or any kind of pencil crayons, because they blend in if you use alcohol. So if you're using markers, for example, and you go over the lines of your pencil crayons with that, it can smudge it everywhere. So don't use pencil crayons for the lines. I never tried that out, but I heard that the Prismacolor Col Erase, I think it's called, they are pretty good. They have an eraser on the back, and you can sharpen them very well. They don't break that easily, at least that's what I heard. So I can't really give you a real review about them or anything because I haven't tried them out. If you want to know, the ones that I am using are the Faber-Castell Classic Colors and the Staedtler Norris Club. The Norris Clubs from Staedtler have some kind of a gum stuff that keeps them from breaking, but it doesn't, keep them from breaking off the very tip if you're drawing with it. And the Faber-Castells don't have anything like that, but they lay down the color very nicely and they don't break as easily, I feel like. The Faber-Castells have a color range for pinks that is not really my thing. It's very purple blue based pinks, and I haven't seen any kind of a very red based pink. So if you're trying to make like blush or anything, it's not the color I would go for, really. The brand I would go for. Now, if you don't want to do it with any kind of colored pencils and you want to use actual ink, you have a couple of different things you could use in that case. The most popular method is to use a dip pen. You can get them in any really Japanese manga store on the internet. I don't know if you can get this on Amazon or anything, but you can order different kinds. The most popular one is the G pen. It allows you to make different variations of lines. It's the most popular one that is used in manga drawing, so I think it's really nice. I draw with that a lot if I make any dark lines or any black lines really, but I really like that one. And then you have also the Maru pen and the Saji pen. The Maru pen is super thin, very good for hair or lashes or people in the background, and the Saji pen is more for thicker lines. So for example, if you want to draw the panels or different things like that, these are the three that mangakas use the most if they want to be traditional about their work. If you use one of those dip pens, you can also choose for colors. You could, for example, use like watercolor inks like I'm using them, but since I use watercolor inks, as you can hear, they would smudge if I would do that because they are watercolors, and watercolors are they move with water. That doesn't make any sense, but like, you know, like it gets off with water.
Okay.
And so if you are to use them and then color them with watercolors, it's not gonna work really well. So you can go ahead and buy like maybe a sepia or other colors that you want to get, or some of the Dr. Peach Martin's inks. They have some watercolor inks that are not going to detach themselves. If that makes any sense to you? They will stay on and you can make the lines very well. Unbelievable, guys, come on. I have guests, you can't do that. Another thing for inking, if you don't want to use dip pens, you can use fine liners. I'm not going to go into all the fine liners there are out there because there are so many. One thing I know that are going to be good for markers, you can get Copic multi-liners. Obviously they are made for markers. You can get them in different colors too. I think it's only sepia and black, maybe gray, I'm not sure. Those are kind of expensive, I guess. I haven't looked it up. I don't like using fine liners at all, but a lot of people use them. A lot of people use Micron multi-liners. They have blue, they have red, they have sepia, they have black, a couple of colors. So those are the ones that are waterproof, I think, and marker proof. So marker proof just means that it's not gonna go away with alcohol, because there is alcohol in the markers obviously, and it's not going away with water either. So if something does not come off just by using water, it might just still come off with alcohol involved. So you just want to try it out on a scratch piece of paper. That if you want to use watercolor paper, use that kind of paper to try it out so you know how it's gonna work in that media. If you want to use any kind of coloring media that involves water or alcohol or any kind of wet thing, I would never suggest you go for the kind of fine liners from Stabilo. They are not waterproof at all. They bleed as soon as you touch them. They bleed everywhere. So if you want to use those, then only with dry media. Otherwise you're gonna screw up the whole drawing and it's not gonna look really good. Now obviously if you want to color your drawing, you don't have to choose colors for the outlines. You can just make them in black or make them sepia. A lot of people choose sepia. It just looks a little better with the skin tone, I guess. Look at some drawings online. A lot of people do use the brown technique, especially mangakas that publish their manga on the front of their mangas. You can see that they use a lot of brown inks to make all the outlines instead of using the black ones. It just gives it all around a more softer look. It looks a little prettier, a little warmer. Still, a lot of people use black lines for their outlines. Just one thing I want to say is if you choose whatever kind of thing you choose, if you want to draw on with wet media, always be careful that it is waterproof. And as I said, always test it out. Even though you know, oh, it's gonna be waterproof, always test it out before you use it the first time with your own colors, with your own markers, just so you know. And you know how to use it, because you just might screw up your whole drawing. You made all the lines and then you screw it up. So we all had that and it's not fun, so just always be careful with that. Yeah, that's pretty much it for that. The next thing I would talk about would be how to color a drawing, or how to know what kind of ink to use. So that would be the next one of this series. I'm not sure if I'm gonna upload that next week though. I might just do another video next week, because I don't want to upload them back to back like that. I think we're pretty much set now. So if you want to know how to sketch your drawing, then head over to my channel and go look for that. I made a video on that, and I also made a video on how to trace your artwork and make your own, I was gonna say softbox, but I mean lightbox. So I really hope you enjoyed. Links for a lot of things are below. Other than that, that's it. I wish you a beautiful night, and I'll see you next week.
Eyes in the sky, gazing far into the night. I raise my hand to the fire, but it's no use, 'cause you can't stop it from shining.